Okay, now what type of plant is that?
This plant is called the star plant because of it's got the starry leaves.
Getting jealous.
Yeah, there you go. And this is called the peas hanging.
The peas?
Yeah. Yeah.
He chases them around.
And this is called something weird. Something strange. Hello, welcome to Jamie and Steph's crib, and this is their beautiful plants. Let's go on a plant tour.
Hey guys, welcome back to HellaJam. Today, as you can tell from the title, I'm going to be showing you guys our plant tour. If you guys are new here, my name is Jamie and I love plants. I am the crazy plant lady and I'm not a professional. I don't know what I'm doing, but this is the most highly requested video to give a tour of all of our plants in our apartment and also answer some questions that you guys sent from Instagram. Hopefully I can answer all of your questions and maybe spread some of my plant guidance onto you, if that makes sense. Oh, my plant knowledge. Maybe I can pass on some of this plant knowledge from me to you. Just a heads up though, some of our plants I've like repotted or I've had them for years and for whatever reason I don't know the real name of them. Hopefully I can give you guys a little bit more of like a detailed look of the plant. Then you guys could possibly just purchase it at a nursery if you see it. Hopefully that could be helpful. Let's start with this amazing plant shelf. I absolutely love this little baby. It's from Trader Joe's. I think it was just a few bucks, but it really was like that long before, and look at how long it's grown, my friends. It is flourishing. This is actually a Filipino mug that my dad brought from the Philippines, and I just decided to put it in there instead of using it as a coffee mug. I believe these are called banana leaf succulents. This is called a Nepenthes. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. This one, I specifically asked the woman at our favorite little plant shop in Oakland called Crimson. I specifically asked her what the water needs is, and she says that it needs to be next to a lot of light and needs to be watered like every other day. What I usually do when I water this bad boy is I'll just put them in the sink, shower it with a ton of water, and then let it drain, hang it above my sink. Put it back like an hour later. But yeah, you basically fill these little tubes with water and it helps hydrate the plant. So cool. I propagated some of these pothos ivy, kind of like this guy. This is a pothos satin plotus. A lot of these ivies are actually really easy to take care of. I put a calendar reminder once a week, like every Sunday, to water my plants. I'll literally just have like a little shower day for our plants. And I'll just bring them all to the sink, whichever ones aren't fully potted yet, and I'll put them in the sink and literally drench it with water and let it drain there as well. A number one problem with being a plant mom is possibly killing your plants by overwatering. So what you want to do is you want to stick your finger like at least an inch into the soil and make sure that it's completely dry. If it's not completely dry, maybe just check on it in like the next day or the day later and then water it. If you're really an overachiever, you can keep a little journal kind of scheduling like which ones need more water than others. So for instance, this guy, I just watered him a couple days ago and let him drain. Way too moist. I can't water him yet. We got this guy from Crimson as well. I don't know what it is, but he does like this area. I had him on top of their fridge before and he was not loving it. Like he had some little dry spots. This is one of the oldest ivies Stefano and I have ever had. So we got this 3 years ago up in San Francisco at a cool store called Paxton Gate. To be honest, he wasn't really doing very well recently because I hadn't repotted him, but my dad came over the other day and helped me repot him, and so hopefully the new soil and like all the oxygen in the soil will help him prosper a little bit more. When Steph and I got back from Southeast Asia, we got this yucca plant. I got this yucca plant from a nursery in the Bay Area called Sprouts. It actually was probably this size at first, and it's already grown so much just in the past year. If you want a plant that's a good statement plant, it's indestructible. Except Azul loves this plant, and when we don't feed him in the morning at the exact same time, if Steph and I are sleeping in, he'll start chomping on them. Hence these little babies, he's chomped on those, and then he's also killed, there were like 2 other little leaves, and these are dying, as well as that guy down there. But other than that, I'm hoping and praying that if I just put some fertilizer, it'll help bring this guy back to life. Azul, this is what I'm saying. This guy, I caught you red-handed. A lot of people suggest that if your animals, your cats, or your dogs are eating your plants, you could buy bitter spray. Let me tell you, it doesn't really work. This one is one of our newest plant babies, and I absolutely love how bushy it is and how it just drapes so beautifully. This is an autumn philodendron. I noticed that it takes them a lot longer to dry out, so I actually have to water them every like week and a half. But you'll notice that if you see any browning on the edge of your leaves, that means you're either overwatering or you're not watering on a specific schedule. And so sometimes when you mix up the schedule, like let's say you go on vacation and then you water it, sometimes you'll have little brown leaves, but it's okay. Not every plant's perfect. We got this little guy from IKEA 4 years ago, and he's probably like this height. And look at how much he's grown. I probably should repot it. Such a pretty guy. Ooh, this is one of my favorite succulents too. This guy's growing like crazy, super firm. Ooh, aloe vera plant. Very, very easy to take care of. I'm not sure if I propagated this guy correctly, but we'll see. Wishing him luck. So many people have commented on my YouTube videos asking what type of plant this is. And unfortunately, I have no idea what it is. So let's just take a mental picture for y'all. Hopefully you can buy it when you go to the nursery. He actually doesn't have to be in a lot of light. He's actually doing really, really well in this corner. He does get dust very, very easily. I think it's because he's by the window. I got this cactus from Home Depot as well as the pot. What's really awesome about this pot is you can repot your plant. It has a nice little drainage hole that catches the water. I really love pots like this. This guy is our newest plant baby, and I'm so happy to have him in our home. Still trying to figure out his watering schedule. Let's see. Yep, he's still moist in there. I can water him in the next couple of days. A lot of you guys asked what plant is the easiest plant indoors that doesn't really need a lot of light. Snake plant. This guy right here is the easiest indoor plant to take care of. He does not need a lot of light at all. The best part is that he doesn't really need much water either. You can water him like once every 2 weeks. This is a birds of paradise plant that I'm trying to salvage. My dad also got this guy for like $20. When we got him, he was kind of in bad shape, but he does have a few little guys that are growing in too. I don't know if maybe there's not enough ventilation in here or if the light's not doing well, but he's hanging on by a thread. I think maybe if I add some fertilizer in here, this might help this guy a lot.
Hi guys, this is my plant paradise. This monitor gives off 800 lumens of light to the plant next to it, so it grows towards it. I learned that in history class. Yep.
Okay, let's leave the plant talking to me, all right?
Let's just stick to me not talking.
You can tell that I had to like MacGyver and put in some stakes so it didn't fully droop over and head over Stefano's station. This is another pothos ivy that I am trying to propagate as well. Hopefully I did it right and hopefully he's doing okay, but it's so gorgeous. This was our friend's ivy that we bought for him, and unfortunately in his apartment it kind of died. There were a couple of leaves and I thought, well, why don't I just try and adopt it and bring it back to life? So I did, and look at how much it's flourishing. I'm so happy. I can't believe he's doing so well. I told him I would give it back to him, but I also... Stefano! Steph!
Oh, sorry.
But I already repotted it, so sorry, Mike, you're not getting this guy back. Sorry. Once again, I love ivy. This is another ivy that we got. Got this at a nursery by our old spot in San Francisco, and he's doing decent. To be honest, he did better on that shelf with all the other plants. I'm trying to figure out if it's too much light or if it's too close to the window as to why he is kind of shriveling up a little bit. Oh, see what it is he's a little dry, so I just need to water him more often. This is our bamboo plant. I decided to add it to the nursery because one, the rose gold pot that it came in from Home Depot is so cute and adds a little bit of glam to his room. Bamboo is a plant that's known for good luck, and it's very easy to take care of. You just have to water it once a week too. I love this little corner in our bedroom so much. This is another Birds of Paradise that I got from IKEA actually, and it's already grown so much. He's definitely living his best life in this corner, and I'm so happy because at our old apartment he wasn't doing very well. This pot was actually in my dad's backyard. It was from the 80s and he just didn't know what to do with it, so I swooped it from him. I also thrifted this stool to kind of give it some height and make it look a little bit more dramatic and to really fill the high ceilings. I remember when I got this plant with my dad, I was like, Dad, no, the leaves are too messed up. They're all broken. He told me, he said, it's okay, Jamie. It's the imperfections that make it beautiful and gives it character. And I was like, Prince Gary, I love that.
Hello, this is Prince Gary.
This is a rubber plant, needs to be dusted. I found that watering him once a week is just fine. He does like to be next to the light. Pots. Pot. I thrifted this pot. This pot was gifted to us from a friend. Got this from Home Depot. Once again, it has the holes already in there, so you don't have to worry about draining it. We got this beautiful number from Crimson. IKEA. This is another bamboo number that was gifted to me, and I decided to put it in this cute little $2 rattan planter. We've had this since we first moved to LA, so when we first started dating. I don't even know what type of plant this is either, but it's beautiful. This is from a small little nursery in my hometown. This pot somewhere in LA. I love the detail of the different blues. It kind of reminds me of like a little of the ocean. My dad has a green thumb and he just collects a shit ton of pots too, and so I stole this from him. I love how it just reminds me so much of the 90s. So I got this stand from Target for $35. I thrifted this little bamboo. I have no idea what this is, but I made it into a plant stand from Goodwill. And then I swooped this brass bucket and kind of made it into a planter to kind of add some glam to this beautiful, beautiful plant. All right, so let's go over some of the questions. Someone said, please tell me how to not kill my plants. Don't be discouraged if you're killing your plants. I know it's kind of a bummer because you're like, no, you were alive. It's almost like a goldfish. Make sure that your plants aren't in direct sunlight because that could really, really burn the plants. And from my experience, if I put them right in the window, it's really trial and error. Try and find an area where it's not directly under the sun, but it definitely has enough sunlight. I went to the nursery the other day and I was really bummed out because one of my plants was dying. And he said, why are you being so dramatic? It's okay, it's just a plant. And I was like, no, but these are my plant babies and I feel terrible. Basically said the biggest mistake a lot of people make, overwatering your plants. Make sure that your plant is completely dry before you water it again. He also said that it's even better if your plant's dry because that means your plant is parched and it's gonna promote more growth. Where are your favorite plant shops? I'm gonna give you my biggest secrets on how to find decent plants for a good price. IKEA is one. IKEA has amazing floor plants of every size really, and I find that their plants aren't very hard to take care of. Because IKEA's plants are crazy affordable, it doesn't hurt that much when it possibly dies. So the risk isn't that painful, if you know what I mean. I highly recommend going to IKEA, purchasing a couple of plants, having that be your first little plant baby. Plants are plants no matter where you get them. You can get it at a bougie boutique and spend like $50 on it, or you could get it at a cheaper price and just take care of it. My first test was to make sure that I'm able to keep a plant alive, and once I was able to do that, then I started adding more plant babies. I also found out, I asked the woman at IKEA, and she said that every Thursday is when she gets her first shipment of plants. They open at 10 a.m. So that's the best time to get the cream of the crop IKEA plants. Love going to Home Depot. I think that like Home Depot and Lowe's, you can get plants for a pretty affordable price, as well as their pots. And then my local favorite is Crimson in Oakland. Beautifully selected plant babies, and they give great advice, and their pots are a little pricey, but if you want handmade pots that really show a lot of personality and just are absolutely beautiful, then definitely check out Crimson. This is not sponsored. You should sponsor me though, but this is not. What is the biggest tip that you learned from your dad? I think it's kind of my dad's carefree attitude with handling the plant. Sometimes I'll ask him a question and he'll just be like, it's easy, you just water it. It's okay. Oh no, it's overwatered. He's just so frank that instead of me being intimidated by being a plant mom, overthinking like, oh man, am I watering it too much? Is it too sunny? Is it this or that? It's almost like my plants just kind of go with my flow. So yeah, I think that's the biggest tip that I learned from my dad, is just not to stress it too much and to just kind of like give your plants as much love as you can and enjoy this hobby and make it a routine. Water your plants and give it love and they will 100% grow. I think just by sending them good vibes and sticking to a routine and making that routine a fun part of your life. How you desire what goes where and in which pot. To be honest, I have no idea what I'm doing when I'm decorating my plants, but I do know that I love layering my plants. I love having plants that I can put on the floor, like floor plants. And then also to add some dimension, I'll add a stool, which I could thrift for super cheap, and then add another plant on top of that. I think a good starter plant would be a succulent. Everybody says a succulent. I think it's because it's so easy to take care of. You basically only need to water it once a week, and like I said, just drain it. But I personally think that ivy is even easier to take care of. And then of course you also have like, you could do a huge floor plant. So my favorite corner is the one that has a bunch of different dimension and kind of looks like a little bit of a jungle. Have fun with it. Just play around and move things around. You'll kind of figure out, like, once you place a plant a certain place and it feels good to you, you'll know. But don't be afraid. There's really no rule. I'm proud to say that I've gained my green thumb through my father.
Oh, this is Prince Gary.
His garden is so beautiful, and he's also just like guided me and given me advice on how to take care of my plants. And I think this is something that I'll always be able to keep with me for the rest of my life. Like, when I can always look at my plants and think of my dad, which is, I think, a pretty special thing. He came over the other day and he actually repotted a couple plants for me, but he didn't want me to repot the plants because of the fertilizer that's in it and because I'm pregnant. He came over and I asked him, I said, Dad, where did you learn your green thumb? And he said, I used to plant a lot with my mom growing up. We had a garden. I was like, oh, that's so sweet. I think it's definitely something that's been passed down to, you know, from generations, which I think is so incredibly special. When I am buying my plants, I try to think about what plants I already have. I love having a big variety to choose from that kind of adds different texture into our apartment. I think my biggest advice is, once you are able to keep a few alive, go on Pinterest, gain some inspiration, buy some plant books, and just kind of like be immersed in how you want your apartment to look with all these plants. Like, I knew that I wanted my apartment to look like a jungle. I wanted there to be a ton of plants to help, not only help purify our apartment, but to also just like bring some life into the apartment. And you'd be amazed by how much plants just make a home feel like home, feel more cozy, and I love it. I love it. A lot of people asked, where do I find my pots? Thrift shops. Definitely go to the home goods ceramic section. You'll find a ton of really cool, pretty ceramic ones there. IKEA. And then nurseries. That's pretty much it. All right, guys, that wraps up my plant tour / Q&A / jams plant tips. I hope that was somewhat helpful. Honestly, I never really know what I'm doing, guys. It's just trial and error. But if you kill your plants and your plants just keep dying, just don't lose hope. Just try different things and maybe place it somewhere else, or stick to a strict watering schedule, whatever it may be. But don't give up, because it really is easy. And I think plants bring so much life into this world. And I feel like all of us can prosper and love and feel good from becoming plant mom. You can be a plant lady or plant man, plant anything, plant queen, Kween. If you guys have any comments or questions, or if you found this helpful at all, leave a comment below. Let me know what your favorite nook and cranny is of where our plants are, and I hope this was informational. That's pretty much it. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you soon. Peace.